Good evening and a very warm welcome to Television Tonga's news package for tonight. Making headlines, His Majesty King Double Six War Commission, the Free Wesleyan Church's new hall in Golofa'o this week. Cabinet approved 5% COLA to the tune of 1.5 million pa'anga, and 4 squash companies paid back 600,000 pa'anga of their loan money from the government's Agricultural Marketing Fund. These and more stories later on in this bulletin. I'm Fatai Fenga with your news for tonight. His Majesty King Double Six will commission the Free Wesleyan Church's new hall in Golofa'o this Thursday, December 26. Sinlatu tells you more.
A minister of the church, Reverend David Latai-Lakepa, confirmed this to Radio and Television Tonga News this morning, saying that the new constructed hall is estimated at 1.6 million pa'anga. He also expresses how glad the members of the Golofa'o congregation are for the great work they've done. It is understood that this is a multi-purpose hall that can be used for the church members' events, and also the church as a whole. And this is Golofa'o's first hall, and it has been a joyous occasion knowing that this new development is a result of the church members' teamwork. I also believe that the hall can be used by other church members from different denominations. In previous years, the church members used the Maupa Hall for their functions. According to Reverend Latai-Lakepa, the new constructed hall is 144 feet long and 80 feet wide. The congregation of Golofa'o consists of 77 families and about 400 members. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinilatu.
The Cabinet has approved 5% cost of living adjustment or COLA to be offered to the civil servants and to be made available next month. According to the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister Sami Waipolo, the government first approved 20%. However, the World Bank advised the government to offer half of the COLA to start with due to Tonga's financial difficulties. The Cabinet therefore approved 5% to start with and review later next year the other half. The COLA is to be reviewed biannually depending on the inflation and other factors. Almost 40% COLA is needed for civil servants. However, government will wait until the financial standards are stable. Government wishes for 20% but advice from the World Bank to apply at 5 or 10% due to the current financial crisis. The Cabinet then approved 5% and later see if they can offer the other half in the next financial year. The last COLA offered to the civil servants was 2009. The challenges faced by the government is funding available at the time. If government can provide the amount at that time, they would have offered it to the civil servants. But on that time, the government cannot afford that amount of money. The Deputy Prime Minister says the 5% COLA is applied to all civil servants, including the daily basis workers. 4 squash companies in Tonga have paid back more than 600,000 pa'anga of loan money as part of the government's 1 million pa'anga Agricultural Marketing Fund put aside to help farmers. The money put aside for this scheme is part of the government scheme to help local farmers and growers. The Honourable Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries and Food, Honourable Sengsta Saulala, confirmed this to Radio and Television Tonga News. About 78% of the 1 million pa'anga loan have been lent out to the squash growers. Despite some people disagreed with the idea of lending some of this loan money to the squash growers, believing that it will be a loss, but last week the squash sector have paid off their total loan at 1% interest of 68,000 pa'anga. A senior officer from the ministry, Metu Falesiva, also spoke of the money collected from the squash growers. The loan money for the Agricultural Marketing Fund is well taken care of by the Treasury Office. The total amount of the money available in that account is 1.4 million pa'anga. The Honourable Minister also highlighted that the repayment of the loan money was made within a period of 6 months, which is a good sign for this scheme. Her Royal Highness the Princess Latofu Pekatuk Aho yesterday presented Christmas goodies and presents to people living with disabilities at the Mango Tree Centre in Homakelikau. The gifts were warmly welcomed by the director of the centre, Amanaki Kim, and distributed among the children and members of the centre. These are children and adults that were fortunate from Her Royal Highness the Princess Latu Fuipeka Tuku'aho's gifts. Among the presents donated were toys and other materials that might help endure the lessons taught at the centre. The director of the centre, Amanaki Kim, says these gifts coincide with the mission and vision of the centre.
So mango tree is the symbol of shelter. So we call the center Mango Tree Center to invite people with disabilities. Please come and have a rest, have a fellowship together. That's why the name is Mango Tree Center.
Meanwhile, a mother that had a child at the centre praises the good work. She says they are happy and blessed to be part of the centre. It has helped them a lot, and with the assistance from the princess, they've counted it as a blessing. She says this centre is an eye-opener for them. The centre was established in 2007 by two Korean missionaries, Amanaki and Ofa Kim. The Chiefly village of Visese in Lautoka, Fiji, decided to provide a sacred gift to the grieving Tongan man who lost his wife and 7-month-old daughter in a brutal attack last Wednesday. This is after the Yavusa Sawayeke met and agreed that Sisi Patolo, 33, and her baby Sarah be buried at the clan's burial ground, located right next to where the late president and Tuivunda, Ratu Josefa Iloilo, was interred. Tauke Sawayeke Ratu Devita Momoetono yesterday confirmed the funeral arrangements. He said clan members met and agreed to have the deceased laid to rest at the village. Ratu Devita said his family had traditional family ties in Sawana, Vanuambalabu, which was home to many Tongans. He said he had also approached leaders of the Methodist Church in the village to have the funeral service at the John Wesley Church in Visese. Mokai Patolo, the husband and father of the deceased, thanked Ratu Devita and his family for their generosity. The duo were allegedly murdered inside their home outside Visese by 22-year-old Priya Darshani. Ms. Darshani appeared in court last weekend charged with 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempt murder. 3 of the deceased children are still admitted at the Lautoka Hospital. Today, December 24th, was one of the busiest days in Nuku'alofa as people were carrying out last-minute shopping for Christmas tomorrow. Sinlatu was in downtown Nuku'alofa and filed this report.
These are some of the people who were in Nuku'alofa today carrying out shopping for Christmas tomorrow. I'm here with some of my grandchildren to do some shopping for Christmas. Our wish is to have a merry and a joyful Christmas with my family tomorrow. This is the first Christmas in a long time that we've seen so many people here in Nuku'alofa. It is evident that Nuku'alofa has developed through the years. Our Christmas is to decorate our home, and that is why we are here today. I also want to wish His Majesty and the royal family, church leaders, and everyone here in Tonga a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I feel happy to wish all the mothers and fathers here in Tonga a Merry Christmas. Christmas Day is a sacred day similar to that Sabbath. It is a day of exchanging presents and family gatherings. For Television Tonga News, I'm Sinilatu.
And that's the local news. Latest from around the region is up next. From around the region, the General Secretary of the Solomon Islands Teachers Association says a shortfall in teachers' travel allowances has stopped more than half of the country's teachers from going home at Christmas, Walter Desuatai says on the agreed arrangements, the local government education authorities are to meet 50% and the national government the other 50% of the cost of teachers' leave passages. But he says the Ministry of Education has only come up with a third of the $1.6 million required, and the local education authorities with nothing. Fiji's Attorney General Ayaz Sayed Kayum says the voter registration process will continue next year with a focus on people who have only recently turned to 18. He says more than 540,000 people have registered so far, more than the number claimed by the leader of the Labour Party, Mahinda Chaudhry, who says 20% of the electorate are yet to be registered. Mr. Sayed Kayum takes a swipe at Mr. Chaudhry, saying he's trying to turn the matter into a political issue. Mr. Chaudhry raised concerns that with just 9 months to the election, large numbers are yet to be registered. He blamed elections office staffing and says morale among the workers is low. That's the Pacific News. Sport is up next with Pierre Ollier.
In sport, former athlete star but Kolmutua A's retirement woman player Lata Isia Kamatule has been nominated assistant referee at the Under-17 World Cup next year at Costa Rica. The Women Development Officer from Tonga Football Association, Delighted Tuivailala, made the announcement during a celebration of the men's division achievement in which they won the final of Football Association Tournament 2013. Lata Isia told Radio and Television Tonga Sports News that she's very excited of this opportunity, which will help her develop her career in refereeing. She also thanked God that will help benefit not only herself but also her family. She also conveyed her appreciation of the Tonga Football Association and other coaches' assistants. During the same celebration, the coach of the both team, Viliami Lolohea, said that he is glad with his news, and this news, which brings to light a development in the club's performance. He adds that this is the first year of coaching this team and thank for the help of the community and his assistant coach, Heneli Safi. Mr. Lolohea says that it was very difficult for him to lead this team to win this tournament, in which its opponents were highly profiled teams. However, Kolmatua team won against Nukuleka in men's division, while the women team lost to the Maris up 4-0 in the final.